It is 7 o'clock. I will call the Tuesday, November 28th meeting of the Common Council to order. We have some folks in the audience, I see. If the Boy Scouts would like to come forward and do the pledge, you guys can all come up right here. The mayor will show you where to go.
The flag's here. You guys ready?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all.
Great job. Thank you guys for being here. If you would like to stay for the meeting, you are more than welcome to, but you are not required to. We'll give you guys a little bit of time for those who are going to exit to do so.
It's been like 2 years.
While we're doing that, all right, Ms. Lees, you want to go ahead and call the roll?
Mr. Air,
Present.
Mr. Boyce,
Present.
Mr. Davis,
Present.
Mr. O'Connor,
Present.
Mr. Peterson,
Present.
Mr. Schwartz,
Present.
Mr. Sparks,
Present.
Ms. Wiles,
Present.
Mr. Smith.
Present.
Mr. President, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Approval of the minutes for our November 14th meeting.
Move to approve. Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve our minutes for our November 14th meeting. This is a hand vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. I know. Approval of the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda. Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve tonight's agenda. This is a hand vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. I know. Petitions or comments by citizens who are present. I do not have any, but if you would like to speak, there are sheets of paper right out there outside the doors. You can give those to the clerk, and we will call you up when your item is up for discussion. Council committee reports. The first one is public safety.
Thank you, Mr. President. We met November 14th, myself, Dan Sparts, and Mark Boyce. Chief Mitchell provided a status of the newest recruit class for the fire department. 21 recruits began the academy in August. He expects recruits to begin work on shift by the end of March 2024. With retirements that are included, 10 more firefighters will be needed for adequate staffing. They continue to work on this and to handle the deficit of people leaving. They're adding a 5th ambulance to the service near the end of March of 2024, which will bring the total ambulances to 3 on the east side of the river and 2 on the west side of the river. It used to be a little easier to get an ambulance, but now it's very challenging, and the wait to receive an ambulance at this time is over 3 years. Chief Mitchell also discussed the full solar eclipse on April 8th, 2024 in central Indiana. And the fire department has already planned for the challenge of the expected gridlock and people who are in this area at that time. Chief Mann talked to us about 17 new officers in the training process. There will be 3 open positions in 2024 that they are working to fill in order to keep up with the city's growth, and 2 civilian positions will be filled in 2024, a crime analyst and a social worker. The department's emergency response group has been training with the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department for the past 3 years in order to gain experience. The police department is doing well and appreciates the support from the administration, council, and the community. That is it, and I can answer any questions if anybody has any.
Any questions for Mr. Davis? Now we'll move on to downtown district.
Yes, Mr. President, the Downtown District Committee met on Wednesday, November 15th with Brian Ayer, Darren Peterson, Aaron Smith, and myself. We talked through the status of the funds with Mr. Head sharing that we currently have $893,689 in the fund, but $441,000 of that is encumbered. So that leaves a balance a little over $450,000. And of the $441,000 that is encumbered, much of that is for the four-way flasher signal project that is moving forward and that we anticipate installation will happen in the spring. And that we will look forward to additional deposits next year that will be allocated towards the upcoming streetscape project that will be re-energized after the first of the year. We talked through the Bridge of Flowers update, and Mrs. Johnson from the street department shared that the city had provided close to $2,900 in in-kind services for the Bridge of Flowers fundraiser, and that continued to be working with that organization in some of the activities going on there, and making sure that there is a memorandum of understanding of who is responsible for what on that bridge, including between the city and the county. Again, the three four-way flasher projects that will be coming forth. Black street name sign project is ongoing. That's something that Mrs. Johnson and Mr. Smith are working on, but that the street department's very busy with fall cleanup, leaf pickup, so they will work on that next year. Mr. Rodewall from the engineering department talked about the NDOT State Road 32 project that will be happening in 2024. That will be a major project going through downtown Noblesville that is being led by NDOT. And so there will be lots of information that will be available next spring about how that project will be impacting traffic through downtown Noblesville. There was a brief discussion, again, about the streetscape project and bringing people together to talk through some of those things. So we look forward to doing that in 2024 or beginning that process again. And then we also talked about how the Downtown District Committee is working in conjunction with Noblesville Main Street and their design committee to collaborate on some of the activities to enhance our downtown area. Not all communities that have a Main Street program have a Downtown District Committee like we have in the city of Noblesville. So we've already got a great start on that process. So we're happy to be collaborating with Noblesville Main Street. And that's really it for now.
Only other thing I would add, and this wasn't in the committee, but it was briefly mentioned at the end, that the parking garage at the Village of Federal Hill is now open,
Yes.
which is an exciting new addition to downtown. Any questions for Ms. Wiles? Okay, we will move on to finance.
Thank you, Mr. President. Finance Committee met November 22nd. Number of different topics. We looked at the approval for transfer for electronic road signs, which are sorely needed, as you can tell, with all the construction we've had in the city, and that will be ongoing. We need some additional boards for communication purposes for traffic, so that's on our agenda as transfer. I think it's 1123, and Mr. Zelgowski will speak to that in a little more detail, but that comes with a favorable recommendation. We discussed at great length the RC 5253, which is on everyone's agenda this evening with respect to Project Scoreboard. I'm going to allow Mr. Hughes to delve into most of the details with regard to the resolution. Suffice to say, the Finance Committee moved it forward with a favorable recommendation. I will say this is one of the more complex financing projects that we've undertaken in the city in my 16 years. So very ambitious, but it's something we can accomplish, but I'll allow Mr. Hughes to delve into the details. The Parks Program Fund update, Mr. Bennett was at the meeting and went through our parks and recs, primarily golf and recreation progress for 23, and I'll say that golf continues to be somewhat amazing from a revenue standpoint. Ever since the pandemic, people have found golf, so the revenues have picked up pretty substantially. So So the good news is, historically, we had had some gaps in funding from a golf perspective. Now golf has turned into a revenue generator, and we're able to put money back into the golf courses. So that's all good news. And let's see, the claims come with a favorable recommendation from the committee. And that's my report.
Any questions for Mr. O'Connor?
Mr. President, I move to approve the claims.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the claims. This is a hand vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. 9-0. Moving on to previously discussed ordinances. The council to consider ordinance number 40-10-23, an ordinance annexing approximately 27 acres north of East 196th Street and west of Hague Road, known as Retreat at Morse Plan Development in Noblesville Township. Ms. Hill.
Good evening. Development Services Manager, and I'm with the Planning Department. As you may recall, we, at your last meeting, adopted the fiscal resolution for this particular parcel. It is approximately 27 acres. It is zoned residential, and it will be for the ultimate development of 94 paired villas.
Any questions for Ms. Yelton?
Mr. President,
Mr. O'Connor?
I would move we approve ordinance 40-10-23 as presented.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve ordinance number 40-10-23. This is a roll call vote.
Mr. Air,
Aye.
Mr. Boyce,
Aye.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Mr. O'Connor,
Aye.
Mr. Peterson,
Aye.
Mr. Schwartz,
Aye.
Mr. Sparks,
Aye.
Ms. Wiles,
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
9 ayes, 0 nay. The ordinance is approved.
Council to consider ordinance number 41-10-23, an ordinance annexing approximately 58 acres west of Oleo Road and south of East 166th Street, known as Finch Creek Plan Development in Wayne Township. Ms. Hill.
Again, at the last meeting, we did adopt the fiscal plan, and so today, and we did hold the public hearing, so today we are ready for a vote on this ordinance. Again, this is a part of the overall Finch Creek Plan Development that is located south of 166th Street, and this particular piece of property is just west of Oleo Road.
Any questions for Ms. Yelton?
Mr. President, I would move to approve ordinance 41-10-23. Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve ordinance number 41-10-23. This is also a roll call vote.
Mr. Boyce,
Aye.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Mr. O'Connor,
Aye.
Mr. Peterson,
Aye.
Mr. Schwartz,
Aye.
Mr. Sparks,
Aye.
Ms. Wiles,
Aye.
Mr. Air,
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
9 ayes, 0 nay. The ordinance is approved.
Council to consider ordinance number 47-10-23, an ordinance annexing approximately 1.1 acres at 15533 Cumberland Road, part of Washington Business Park in Noblesville Township, and resolution RC-48-23, adopting a fiscal plan. Ms. Yelton.
This item this evening is presented to you for a public hearing on the ordinance and the adoption of the fiscal plan. Again, it is approximately a 1-acre site. It is a part of the overall Washington Business Park. This particular smaller piece of property at the time that Washington Business Park came to fruition had a residence on it. It still has a residence on it, and it was actually lived in at that time. Since then, they've been able to purchase it, so we need to include it as part of our city limits. Again, the fiscal analysis sets forth the analysis of projected revenues and expenditures, along with the description of services to be provided by the city, both capital and non-capital. All of these required services can be provided by the city within the statutory limits once it's adopted. Again, the assessed value of this property today is approximately $275,300 and would only present to us a slight increase in revenues.
Any questions for Ms. Yelton? This one is a matter of public hearing so I will open the public hearing for ordinance number 47-10-23.
Mr. President, seeing no one come forward, I would like to close the public hearing for ordinance 47-1023.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to close the public hearing for ordinance number 47-10-23. This is a hand vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. 9-0.
Mr. President, I move to approve resolution RC 4823.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve resolution RC-48-23. This is a roll call vote.
No. Hand vote.
Hand vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. 9-0. Thank you very much. Council to consider ordinance number 49-11-23, an ordinance amending ordinance number 16-5-99 regarding an updated preliminary development plan and clarification of existing text for Stony Creek Estates / Stony Creek Farm Plan Development in the 11,300 to 11,700 block of East State Road 38 South Side. Ms. Yelp.
Again, this was introduced at your last meeting. As you may recall, there is, staff is proposing a cleanup of the ordinance that was originally adopted back in 1999, as there were some conflicting entries in that ordinance. So depending on what section you were in, there were a lot of things that conflicted. So basically, what staff has done is taken that ordinance and basically amended those conflicting areas, and also you would be adopting this preliminary development plan for the Agape Therapeutic Riding Center. Again, it was sent to you with a favorable vote from the Plan Commission with a recommendation for adoption.
Any questions for Ms. Yelton on this one?
Mr. President,
Ms. Wiles?
I would move that we approve ordinance 49-11-23 as presented.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve ordinance number 49-11-23. This is a roll call vote.
Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. O'Connor?
Aye.
Mr. Peterson?
Aye.
Mr. Schwartz?
Aye.
Mr. Sparks?
Aye.
Ms. Wiles?
Aye.
Mr. Air?
Aye.
Mr. Boyce?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
9 ayes, 0 nay. The ordinance is approved.
Council to consider ordinance number 50-11-23, an ordinance amending ordinance number 4-2-23 regarding Exhibit E, prohibited use chart for the Midland Point Plan Development south of State Road 32 and east of Hazeldale Road. Ms. Hill?
Again, this is amendment to an existing ordinance. The area that is outlined here in the red is the commercial portion. The area that is to the south of that is the residential portion. Exhibit E basically pertains to the commercial portion of this development. This amendment would allow for one principal business related to the sale of alcoholic beverages for consumption off-premise to be located in an inline tenant building. The Plan Commission did hold the public hearing and sent it forward with a favorable recommendation for adoption by 11-0 vote.
Any questions for Ms. Yelton on this one?
Mr. President, I would move to approve ordinance 50-11-23.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve ordinance number 50-11-23. This is a roll call vote.
Mr. O'Connor?
Aye.
Mr. Peterson?
Aye.
Mr. Schwartz?
Aye.
Mr. Sparks?
Aye.
Ms. Wiles?
Aye.
Mr. Air?
Aye.
Mr. Boyce?
Aye.
Mr. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
9 ayes, 0 nay. The ordinance is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Miscellaneous number 1, council to consider resolution RC-52-23, a resolution finding a need for the leasing of certain municipal facilities and an event center and approving matters related thereto. Project Scoreboard, Mr. Hughes.
Good evening, council members. Jonathan Hughes, City Attorney. I am putting up for you on the overhead a current schematic of Innovation Mile, which also integrates the project we're talking about tonight, which is located here, which is known as Project Scoreboard, also known as the Noblesville Event Center. Tonight, what you have before you is a resolution that will take us to the next step of this project. This is the preliminary approval of the council for the lease structure that we're proposing for the project. As alluded to by Councilman O'Connor, it is a little bit of a complex financing structure. I'm happy to dig into whatever details that the council might be interested in tonight. But I want to go over what it is that we're asking for your approval on tonight and kind of give you a little bit of a picture of what the overall structure looks like. So the overall structure that we're proposing for this is a conduit issuance where the Community Development Corporation would be the issuer of the bonds. They will own the facilities, and then the city will lease those facilities from the CDC. The lease payments will effectively be the debt service payments on the debt. One of the complicating factors with a facility of this size is trying to reduce the amount of capitalized interest that you'll pay. Under Indiana law, we cannot pay a lease payment for a facility that's not yet constructed. So what we're proposing, and you'll see in your resolution in front of you, is 5 city assets being leased as part of this. And those 5 city assets are owned free and clear currently. Essentially, they're like collateral for the debt. And those 5 facilities are 4 fire stations and the salt barn, and they're specifically listed in your resolution. The idea behind doing that is, again, it reduces the amount of capitalized interest and therefore reduces the amount of interest we pay overall on the project, trying to keep our debt service as low as possible. So that's the general structure we're proposing. The resolution in front of you is preliminary approval. To do a lease, we'll have to hold a public hearing. This resolution preliminarily approves the lease so that it can be noticed for the public hearing, authorizes a public hearing, and also importantly declares a need for this project. In order to do one of these building corporation lease structures, we have to have a need for the project determined by this board. So that's what the resolution asks for. We still have a lot of steps to go through before we get final numbers in front of you and before we get a final financial approval. We do expect to take that through all of the council's fiscal approval by the end of the year, so we've got a busy December coming upon us, but this time I would request approval on the resolution, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. I will note one more thing. We did have a Community Development Corporation meeting this morning, and they approved the form of lease that's in front of you as well. So they are on board, and that was unanimous approval from the Community Development Corporation. Happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions for Mr. Hughes?
Mr. President, I move to approve Resolution RC 5223.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve Resolution RC-52-23. This is a hand vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. 9-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
We're not there yet.
Yeah. Moving on to transfers. Council to consider transfer TA-11-23, an appropriation transfer in the general fund to provide funding for costs associated with the purchase of changeable electronic road sign equipment. Mr. Zolgowski.
Yes, good evening. As Councilor O'Connor had alluded to, the city has a need for some programmable road signs. This transfer will purchase 2 road signs that are pretty advanced road signs. They allow us to actually change the text on the road signs from here at City Hall, which is apparently a big upgrade to some of the road signs that we're currently using. The road signs that we have, we'll still continue to use. And specifically, this transfer is just moving appropriation authority from the engineering department to the street department. We could have purchased these through the engineering department, but it was just deemed more appropriate to have this purchase go through the street department and have them kind of own that expense for the new road signs. So this is an amount of $40,500 being moved from the engineering department to street.
For clarification, these are road signs like in front of a construction zone.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Yep. So they're the ones that would say, road closed, keep left, what have you.
Yep.
With the level of construction that's going on in Noblesville, it's just going to be a great boon to us to be able to have that flexibility and help direct traffic with those signs.
Any questions?
Mr. President, I move to approve transfer TA 1123.
Second. There's a motion and a second to approve transfer TA-11-23. This is a hand vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. I know.
Thank you.
Mr. President,
Yep.
point of order. Madam Secretary, or Clerk, did we approve 471023? We approved the resolution, but I don't know if we voted on
We
the
have to wait,
ordinance.
we have to wait.
We gotta wait.
That one's got to wait 14 days.
Two,
Yeah.
2 weeks?
Yep,
We have 3 weeks.
3 weeks because we don't have a council meeting in 2.
Oh, that's right. Thank you.
We need Mr. O'Connor's watchful eye.
Just asking the question.
No, it's good. Any other council comments? Yep.
Mayor, would you like to go over your Christmas agenda?
Ho, 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 I sure would.
Maybe
Thanks.
maybe your Friday at 8.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. This is a big week in Noblesville. I want to first of all start by thanking the Noblesville Parks and Recreation Department. We do have our ice skating rink that is open at Federal Hill Commons, in addition to our new parking garage that is open. So not only can you skate, but you can park. So that's great. And also at Federal Hill this year, there is some additional new walking lights throughout Federal. I got to stop there one morning this week after dropping CJ off at basketball practice at 6:45 in the morning. So I can tell you it's a beautiful sight to see and to visit. So that skating rink will be open. You can find those hours on the city's Facebook page or the Noblesville Parks and Recreation Facebook page. I will tell you I want to thank our friends at Noblesville Main Street as well as Aaron Head and Lexi Rock in our office who helped spearhead a great small business Saturday this past Saturday in downtown Noblesville. I know I've said it and you all agree that Noblesville's economy is based on the small businesses and they are truly the backbone of our economy. And we're fortunate to have what we have in downtown Noblesville. I think President Smith mentioned how out of all the county seats, we are by far and above when it comes to capacity of small businesses in our downtown. And I just want to thank the residents who took time on Saturday to come out and continue to support them all through the month of December as they go into somewhat of a slower time in the winter time, as you can imagine, in our small businesses. And then this week, we're excited on Friday to celebrate Lights Over Seminary. This is about our 4th year for lighting up Seminary Park, which is one of our city's oldest parks. And is certainly a gem in our downtown about a block to the south of here. We will flip the switch starting about 6 o'clock on Friday evening. We'll also read A Night Before Christmas, which I'm looking forward to doing yet again out there about 6 o'clock on Friday night. And then there'll be a lot of activities all around the square for First Friday in December. So please plan on spending your Friday evening in downtown Noblesville. Then you're going to continue to spend your Saturday with us in Noblesville as we gear up for the first ever Christmas and Lights Holiday and Lights Parade, a nighttime parade in downtown Noblesville on Saturday evening. I can tell you there's been a lot of excitement about this. Noblesville is steeped in tradition, but I appreciate those that have been willing to bend tradition a little bit or try something new. And so Saturday evening we have actually a record number of submittals for groups, which we're really excited about. I know one of the first questions you might have is about public safety in downtown as we do have a nighttime parade. Our EMA team and our public safety team has been on the scene and prepared to make sure that it is a safe outing for folks as it is at nighttime. You have to worry about that at times. It will follow the traditional parade route, but I will tell you it will go down Logan Street and then we'll continue going on Logan and stop at Federal Hill Commons. Now there has been a lot of questions about how do folks then, if you're in the parade, get back to Ivy Tech where it starts. We're encouraging a lot of ride sharing. Hopefully those that are in the parade may get dropped off, but we will also have a shuttle service for those that end up at Federal Hill Commons and realize they have no place to go and their car is back at Ivy Tech. So we'll get you back there, but we're really excited about this. I think it'll just continue to add to the charm. I think downtown looks beautiful right now, and to add several thousand people parading their way through downtown will just be a heck of a way to celebrate the start of the holiday season. So I thank you, and again, I thank all those who have worked tirelessly to get this up and going during an already very busy time of year for folks. So please come out and support them and enjoy a great weekend in Noblesville. And thank you, Mr. Ayer, for asking me the question.
So you don't think I watch your Friday at 5?
No, I'm just impressed.
Well, your Friday at 8 is good. At Costco.
Right, live on the scene. Any other comments? Okay, we are adjourned.